Bonjour.
Here we go again.
Yes.
Who are we playing this weekend?
I don't know.
Régis, can I ask you about the transfer window first? 3-4 days in, is there anything imminent coming in, going out?
Nothing at the moment. Yeah. We are focused on the next game. Really.
In terms of the window, though, I mean, you have spoken about the numbers you want to get in and the areas that you need to strengthen. Are you confident that you've got the backing as well of the owner and the club, that you'll be able to do the business that you want to do with the club currently in a playoff position and looking like that could well be where you are at the end of the season?
I think so. Now it's a question of opportunities on the market. So we are not the only club with expectations for that transfer window, and you know that is still unpredictable. We know exactly what do we need, and in front of that you have the reality of the availability of the players, and we'll see. But we are aligned. Yeah.
And conscious that the other teams in and around the playoffs and automatic promotion will be doing business themselves, which always makes the job a little bit harder.
Yeah. But it's not. It's important, but it's not the most important point. I think because the season now, the dynamic is launched, and you can make some subtle changes, but you can't change the whole dynamic. So it's very important to say again that the solutions are more inside than outside. But if we can adjust 1, 2, 3 elements to find the right balance for the second part of the season, that's fine. But we don't have to put too much attention about this transfer window to say, okay, all the problems will be solved. It doesn't work like that.
Well, you talk about adjustments, and you made an adjustment on Wednesday night, playing Isidore and Meander, both of them through the middle, and that worked very, very well. I was just thinking about that change that you made, and you'd said afterwards how you'd had a conversation with the coaching team and you decided that was the route you were going to go down. Is this the point at which you, as you've said in the past, you've got to a certain point with the team which you're happy with and it can take another step forwards now, and this is perhaps part of that process?
Yes, it's the flow of the season. So in this flow, many events can happen, and one of these elements is the improvement of the players, the evolution of the team, and injuries, suspensions, and because I think the full group is really involved. You can find out new solutions because they provide some good vibes, I could say like that, and this solution was good and efficient against Sheffield. I don't know if it will be the case for the other games, but at least it was the case last game.
Because you said about Meander, you've been trying to convince him he can play as a winger. But clearly, you obviously played through the middle. He's got another goal. He could have had a couple. Yeah. Meander scoring again. Do you think it is because he went back into the middle rather than playing on the wing?
I don't know. We don't know. Really, we don't know. But this it's fair to say that these two forwards, when they are associated like that, it's a big strength for us and big threat for the opponent. And it's a new style of play because obviously Eli is really a striker, so it was expected a little bit more to be the third midfielder, but because his own style of play is really a striker, so we played really in 4-4-2. It wasn't another system, and it was good for Eli, but it was good for Wilson as well, because now it's a 2v2 against the back four, and for Wilson, before it was always a 2v1, so if one is marking, the other can cover. wasn't possible with a second striker. So it's a good solution for us. But at the same time, we have to create something else to build up the game because we have one less midfielder. So it was a good adaptation and a new layer for our game model.
You said a few weeks ago you were confident that Wilson would start to score goals again. I mean, that confidence has been well placed, and the quality of the goals he's scoring is exceptional as well.
Yeah, that's true. And yes, consistency is the key for the players, but I think it's the key for the staff and the head coach as well. So if we believe that our players are working hard for the team, they have good qualities, they are really connected with the club, the identity of the club, and sometimes they can struggle and just normal life, especially in that league with that level of competition. So we have to keep the confidence and to reinforce their confidence because we believe that they can succeed.
One player that's perhaps going a little bit under the radar at the moment is Dan Neil. By his own admission, he said at the start of the season he probably wasn't playing to the levels that he knows he can play. But the last 3 or 4 weeks, he too has been exceptional in the middle. His passing, his chasing down balls. It does seem at the moment to be at the top of his game.
Yes, I think he did well during the first part of the season, but it wasn't so obvious for the observers maybe because he's really involved to adjust all the behaviors of his teammates, and is very clever, very important to adjust, to give information, to balance the team, and at the end the individual output is not maybe as huge as expected, but is very important for the team. And now this job is still done, and he can add something more like forward passes, like tackles, like counter pressing with high intensity. You can feel how strong he is as an individual player, but you have to feel at the same time the role he has for the balance of the team is very important for that.
Because I think as an individual, he's a player that who would like to get forwards. He's had to be very disciplined to play the role he's playing.
Yes, because we played so far in 4-3-3, and the role of 6 is very important to balance the team, especially to manage the counter attacks. And if we release that position, it's like a big gap for the opponent. And so far, we didn't concede many counter attacks. We managed this part of the game very properly. And I think it's very important for the balance and the confidence of the team. And Dan is so important for that role.
As far as injuries are concerned, I mean, you mentioned Dennis Sirkin being tired the other night, the reason he missed out against Sheffield United. Is Ballard likely to be back in contention this weekend?
I think we'll have to take care of Ballard because it's a muscle injury, and it's not a major injury, but it's still the same with muscle injury. You have to be very careful, because if you have a re-injury and muscle is still a problem. When it's a joint injury is different, but for that we have to wait a little bit.
And in terms of, I mean, are you waiting in some respects for the cup game against Stoke to maybe see one or two of the fringe players, but one or two of those that are on the cusp of coming back from injury?
Salis is training now, full training. We'll have Régis probably. We have to wait a little bit, but his recovery is doing well. Probably these two players.
And Tommy Watson, he's still a few weeks away, isn't he?
Yeah.
Portsmouth, it's going to look like a very different team, I think, to the team that you faced at the beginning of the season, because they brought in 2 or 3 players in the transfer window, because that was still ongoing at the early part of the season. Very strong recently at home, but they do still seem to be struggling away from home.
I hope they will keep the dynamic, but I don't expect any weaknesses from them. We have to be good as a team, And if they struggle away, that's fine. But I think they will play a good game, and because they are in a good dynamic. So for us, we have to be focused on our game, and we have to play our best football.
Régis, sorry to go back to the transfer window briefly. You were talking about hoping to bring in some players to strengthen the squad. But how concerning as a head coach, as a manager, is it when you're thinking about trying to hang on to your best players as well? Are you concerned about other clubs coming in for some of your key players?
It's still an option when young players are playing such a good football. It's good for the club, and probably some of them can be targeted for other huge, massive club. But at the same time, I think for them, they can understand that the dynamic in where they are today is positive for their improvement, and probably beyond just their own career, what they can share with teammates, because it's a human journey, and I think they like it. So it's a good news to have this interest from other clubs, and at the same time, I think they are really involved in the project today. So I'm not too worried.
You're quite confident of
Yes,
hanging on to them. Is the January transfer window a time of anxiety for managers generally?
Not really, because of the dynamic. As I said before, I think we don't have to change many things in the squad. It's just a question now. It's a question of small adjustments. So it's important to make it properly, but it's not a massive work, and so it's not a big problem for me.
How much influence will you have in terms of which players you allow to go and which players you bring in, or will that be done
somewhere
elsewhere?
in the building? No. We are really connected, and it's a collective work, and we can feel it in the building that everyone is connected. The owner, the sporting director, the recruitment structure, the staff, the head coach. We are connected to find the best way to succeed.
So it's a team effort rather than just one guy above telling you what's going to happen.
Yes, exactly.
Great, thank you.
Hi, Bris. Obviously, you got the new year off to the perfect start against Sheffield United. Kind of, how much do you think a result like that can kind of spur you on for the rest of the year?
It's important to win, because I think the last 9 or 10 games we played well. We created more danger than our opponent, and we didn't win every games. So when you play like that, and you deserve to win, but you don't win every games, it's important to have this sweet, I can say like that, because young players, young team, every team I think needs to be encouraged by good results. So this one was very important against Sheffield especially. Yeah.
And kind of, how much do you think 2025 can be Sunderland's year?
Sorry?
How much do you think, how far do you think Sunderland can go in the next 12 months?
I don't understand the question exactly. Can you repeat, or
So if,
say it another way?
So, in the next sort of 6 months to a year, kind of, what do you think Sunderland can achieve in that time? Kind of, will it be Sunderland's year sort of thing? It'll be a good year or a bad year?
What can be the future? It's difficult to say, because it's not only about us, and so what we can control is the way we are working every day with the players we have, not the player we could have. So they did well so far, and now life is unpredictable. Football is unpredictable, and many things can happen. So the opponents can be very strong or not. They can have bad periods. We can have bad periods. So I think the main focus is always what we can control. And if we make our job properly every day, not only me one player, two players, but everyone connected. I think we can face with many issues, and we can play our best football. This is my main concern, my main focus so far.
Okay, thank you.
Régis, if you are to bring in players this month, how important is the character of a player you bring in terms of what they're like as a person as well as their on-field ability?
Yes, level is very important, but the connection with the current story is also very important, and probably you can have a very talented player, but if it doesn't fit with what we are and what we want to do together, it won't work. So it's very important, and it's still a gamble, because until you don't train, you don't play with the team, you don't really know what will happen exactly. So it's a very important part of the assessment, and it's not easy, because the pre-season is very useful to create links, to get to know each other and so on. So in that short period, it's more difficult. So yeah, it will be very important.
And now it perhaps seems obvious to say, but when obviously the team is playing well, winning the way they are currently, in a style that you've created on the training pitches, is it satisfying to you just knowing sort of how much joy you're giving to the fans when you've got a team that's doing so well?
Yes, I think the style of play suits with the mentality of the region and the stadium especially, and the fans, and it's connected with the energy and the identity of the club. So it's good to feel it on the pitch. Sometimes, as a coach, we would like to master other phases, because we would like to be well-rounded, but at least they worked well, they were connected, they keep the consistency. Even we struggled with many situations, we conceded early goals, for example, and they kept the consistency until the end. After a defeat or a late goal, the next game we were immediately involved, and so on. So this is the main part for me for the future.
And obviously we've mentioned the win against Sheffield United, a really important statement win, but is it just as important that you then back this up with another win on Sunday against the team who are struggling?
Yeah, it's very important, because winning is the most important goal for a team. So we have to reset. We will have played, I think, 5 games in 15 days, so it's a very intense pace, and I think the players are ready, and I like their behaviors. After the defeat at Stoke, they were a little bit disappointed, but ready to face with Sheffield. Now after Sheffield, enjoy one day, and then next step for Portsmouth.